She looked right into the camera and called a 400% raise a mistake. That is the only way to describe the absolute chaos that is unfolding between the WNBA players and the league office right now. We are talking about a historic offer on the table, a proposal that would take the average salary from 6 figures to life-changing wealth, a proposal that guarantees charter flights, pension bumps, and a salary cap that jumps from $1.5 million to $5 million per team. It is the kind of deal that usually results in champagne popping in the locker room. But instead of celebrating, the vice president of the Players Association, Kelsey Plum, went on a podcast and effectively accused the league of trying to rob them in broad daylight. Look at this clip playing on your screen from Tuesday night. Watch her face when the host brings up the revenue numbers. That is not the look of someone who is happy about a pay raise. That is the look of someone who knows where the bodies are buried. She didn't just reject the proposal, she dismantled the entire logic behind it. She called the league's strategy a trap. She accused the owners of trying to buy the players off with upfront cash to hide the real money they are stealing on the back end. But to understand why Kelsey Plum is ready to burn the league down over a $1 million contract offer, you have to stop looking at the headlines and start looking at the forensic accounting. Because when you dig into the term sheets, the deleted tweets, and the profit and loss statements that leaked last year, you realize that this isn't a negotiation about salaries. It is a heist, and we need to figure out who is actually holding the gun. Most people think this story started last week when the proposal leaked, but if you want the real timeline, you have to go back to the podcast appearance that changed everything. Kelsey Plum sat down on all the smoke and dropped a receipt that the WNBA league office has been trying to hide for a decade. She confirmed on the record that WNBA players currently receive about 9.3% of the league's revenue. Let that number sink in. In the NBA, the players get 50%. In the NFL, it is 48%. In the WNBA, for every dollar a fan spends on a jersey or a ticket, the women on the court see less than a dime. This is the smoking gun. This is why the $1 million offer is being framed as an insult. The league knows that the Caitlin Clark effect is not a temporary spike. It is a permanent shift in the valuation of the business. Viewership is up 170%. Merchandise sales are up 600%. The league just signed a media rights deal worth $2.2 billion. The owners saw this wave coming and they panicked. They realized that if they didn't lock the players into a fixed number now, they would have to share that $2 billion pie later. So they slid a piece of paper across the table that looks generous on the surface. They offered to quadruple the salaries. They offered the shiny $1 million max contract. It looks like victory. It looks like what the players have been begging for since 1997. But Kelsey Plum read the fine print. She realized that while $1 million sounds like a lot to us, it is a crumb compared to what the owners are about to eat. Plum's argument is forensic and it is brutal. She said the mistake is trying to offer money up front, but not being wise about it. She knows that if the players sign this deal for the 4-time salary bump now, they are locking themselves into a fixed number while the league's revenue is about to go nuclear. If the WNBA becomes a $10 billion business in 5 years because of the rookies and the players sign for a fixed $5 million cap, their share drops from 9% to 1%. Plum isn't fighting for a salary. She is fighting for equity. She is demanding a percentage, not a paycheck. And she is willing to look ungrateful to the public to get it. But there is a darker layer to this story that nobody wants to talk about, and it involves the massive divide between the old guard and the new wave. You have to look at the psychology of a player like Kelsey Plum to understand the rage. Go back to her college days at Washington. Before Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Plum was the one breaking scoring records. She was the one putting up video game numbers. She was the absolute best player in the country. But when she came into the league, there were no private jets. There were no Nike signature shoes waiting for her. She had to fly coach. She had to play overseas in Turkey and Russia just to pay her mortgage. She grinded for years in a league that nobody watched, building the foundation that the current rookies are standing on. Now, suddenly, the money is here, but the narrative isn't about her. It's about the rookies. It's about the fresh faces who walked into a league that was finally ready for them. There is a palpable sense of entitlement from the veterans, and honestly, they have earned the right to be entitled. They kept the lights on when the bill collectors were knocking. So when the owners come to them with a deal that creates a hard cap, the veterans see it as another attempt to control them. They see it as the league saying, "Here's your allowance, now go play." Plum is looking at the owners and saying, "Absolutely not. We built this house. We want the deed, not just a room to sleep in." But the counter-argument is just as vicious, and it is fueled by what we call the reality check faction of the fan base. While Plum is mathematically correct about the percentages, the business reality is messy. We have to look at the tunnel walk evidence. You see players wearing designer clothes, holding Louis Vuitton bags, acting like they're NBA superstars walking into the arena. But the forensic reality of the WNBA business model is that the league has never turned a profit ever. For 27 years, the NBA has subsidized this league to the tune of $15 million annually. It was a charity case. The owners are arguing that the 50-50 split works in the NBA because the NBA is a money-printing machine. In the WNBA, a 50-50 split of the profits would result in the players owing the league money. If you split the losses, the players would have to write checks to the owners at the end of the season. This is where the drama gets toxic. The owners are essentially saying, "We are offering you a 400% raise in a business that technically loses money, largely because one rookie saved your league, and you are telling us it isn't enough?" That is the definition of a gamble. And Kelsey Plum is playing poker with other people's livelihoods. Because here's the thing about a lockout. If the players reject this deal and decide to strike, who gets hurt? Caitlin Clark is making tens of millions in endorsements. She can go on vacation for a year and not even notice the missing paycheck. Angel Reese has a podcast and brand deals. She'll be fine. But the eighth woman on the bench for the Washington Mystics, the veteran who has been grinding for 6 years and finally has a chance to make $200,000, she needs that check. She cannot afford a work stoppage. By taking this hard-line stance, Kelsey Plum is risking a civil war inside the locker room. We are already seeing the cracks form. You have the superstars who want equity and the role players who just want the bag. And the silence from the rookies is deafening. Have you noticed who isn't blasting the CBA proposal? The silence from the Indiana Fever camp is loud. They are letting the old guard fight this war, and they are watching from the sidelines. It is a power struggle for the soul of the league. The veterans want to control the future because they survived the past. The rookies are the future, but they don't have the political power in the union yet. We also need to analyze the body language of the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert. In recent press conferences, the mask is slipping. She looks frustrated. She feels she has rolled out the red carpet. She went to the investors. She got the charter flights funded. She secured the expansion teams in Golden State and Toronto. She is doing everything the players asked for 5 years ago. And every time she offers an olive branch, the players snap it in half and ask for the whole tree. There is a feeling in the league office that nothing will ever be enough, that the relationship is so broken, so poisoned by decades of neglect, that the players are incapable of trusting the owners even when they are trying to do the right thing. This is where the forensic evidence of the social media likes come into play. If you look at who Kelsey Plum is interacting with on Twitter and Instagram, it is a very specific circle of veteran players. It is the Breanna Stewarts, the Asia Wilsons, the inner circle of elites. They are moving as a unit. They have decided that this is their moment to break the wheel. They are looking at the NBA players making $50 million a year and saying, "Why not us?" And when fans tell them to be realistic, to look at the revenue, they point to the growth charts. They point to the sellout crowds. They are betting on the future. The owners are betting on the present. And those two timelines are crashing into each other violently. So where does this end? My insider prediction is that this gets ugly before it gets better. Kelsey Plum called the offer a mistake, but if she overplays this hand, the real mistake will be killing the golden goose before it even laid its first golden egg. The WNBA is peaking right now. The casual fans have finally arrived. If there was a lockout in 2025, right when the momentum is at its highest, those fans might not come back. They might move on to the next trend. The WNBA has a window of opportunity that is wide open, but it is closing fast. If the union opts out of the CBA, which they almost certainly will, we are heading for a showdown that makes the dramas of the past look like child's play. The owners will threaten to revert to the old salary cap. They will threaten to take away the charter flights. They will play hardball. And the players will have to decide if they are willing to lose a season to gain a percentage. It is the ultimate test of unity. Can the millionaire superstars hold the line for the players making the minimum? Or will the locker room fracture under the pressure of the money? Kelsey Plum has put a target on her back. She has made herself the face of the resistance. If this works, she changes women's sports forever. She secures a revenue-sharing model that builds generational wealth for every woman who picks up a basketball. But if it fails, if the league locks out and the momentum dies, she will be remembered as the leader who got too greedy and blew up the league right when it was finally crossing the finish line. The line between a genius negotiator and a destructive force is razor thin. And right now, Kelsey Plum is dancing right on the edge of it. The reality is, the WNBA soap opera is the best show on television, and the writers just introduced the biggest plot twist yet. $1 million on the table, and the star player says no. You couldn't write a better script if you tried. But this isn't fiction. This is people's livelihoods. This is the future of the sport. And the scariest part is we are only in the first act of this negotiation. The real drama hasn't even started yet.